Hello friends, it's Chromatic Sauce and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be watching me tattoo just a little initial. This tattoo is actually a little bit, slightly more special than other tattoos just because it's my boyfriend's mom. She might like it if I call her momster. I'm sure she'll comment on it, so go say hi and ask her how her tattoo is doing if you happen to see her in the comments. But yeah, this tattoo is just a tattoo for her mom. One of her sisters also has like a very similar tattoo that I didn't actually do, so I won't even bother including the picture. Their mother had a very cute, different way of writing. I'm so weird at talking, writing her M's, so they just wanted it to be like cute and like special to honor their mom. So like, I don't know, normally I don't necessarily go into like people's backstories. A lot of times, I mean, I should make it more of a point to probably ask people why are you getting this? But, you know, I generally am a little bit awkward. Sometimes I got a little social anxiety. And then sometimes, you know, especially like a memorial tattoo, like maybe some people don't want to talk about it. So I don't want to like push too hard. I'm always down to talk, and sometimes I ask, but I don't know. How do you guys feel? Do you like hearing like a backstory, like when watching these videos? How do you feel about like hearing more about that? I don't know. I just talk about whatever I want. But let's get on into the video, I guess. Before I begin, like I always say, no talking smack about my clients. And this one especially, this is my boyfriend's mom. Like, that'd be kind of messed up. But any of my clients ever, I'll delete that comment. And I'm down for criticism as long as it's constructive criticism. There's no need to be rude in the comments. But I appreciate your feedback, whether it's on the video or if you're a tattoo artist, I'd be down to talk about tattoos with you. Or I'm down to talk about tattoos with anyone, but in terms of tips and tricks, I would probably only get that from a tattoo artist. Anyway, I'm just rambling. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more like this. This is also, I'm a little nervous because I actually edited the footage down a little bit more. You'll notice a change in probably the majority of my videos from here on out. I basically cut out my head. I cut out the really blurry parts. Sometimes my head is in the way more than I like. So some of these videos, like maybe it's like almost not in frame, but I really cut out a lot of the stuff you don't want to see. So so far I've been able to edit down all the videos that I have to like film a talk through about. I've been able to edit it down so it's still pretty short like I've been making them, and it's still only like 10 to 15 minutes usually, like the videos. Like I can still make not crazy long videos to do a talk through. So I'm pretty happy about that. Let me know what you guys think. Like if you have any opinions, if you think of any other ways that I can improve on editing these videos. I would definitely love to hear feedback. I want to know what you guys want to see. So definitely let me know in the comments below. What do you want to see from me? Anything. Anyway, let's actually start watching the tattoo. It's not even that big of a tattoo, so let's get started. This video is also a little bit more special. Well, it's the first one I'm filming that, like I said, I edited down a little bit more. But since it's so small and it's on the wrist, I decided I would just film the whole process. Usually I don't fully film the stenciling process just because it's a little bit difficult because I have people move around so much, so I can't really get an up close clear view. But the wrist is a place that the skin doesn't change much from when you're sitting or standing. So I could actually put a stencil on while she was sitting in the same exact spot I was going to tattoo her in. Usually I still request, when I have people put a stencil on while they're sitting, I request that they stand up, look at it, I look at it myself, try to make sure we're all good on that end. But I thought it would be cool to show the stenciling process for this one. And she was like nervous because she wanted to move it from the place I first put it. But I was like, this is actually good because it shows that I'm always open to move a stencil for you. If you don't like where it is initially, it's not on my body forever. It is no trouble at all to wipe off the stencil and put a new one on, you know? So always let me know. Always let your artist know. Don't let them bully you. It is not a hassle to move a stencil. But anyway, clips that you've already seen is I started prepping like more of like towards her thumb on her hand. This is her, what hand is it? This is her right hand. So I started prepping more towards like her thumb, and then I was like, wait, where do you want it? She was kind of debating a little bit, like maybe right in the middle. I always usually say for a wrist tattoo, try to go off to the side a little bit. It's a little bit more like, it flows with the body a little bit more, and it feels a little less out of place, in my opinion. I don't think it's bad if you want it in the middle. It's definitely up to you and what you're envisioning for your tattoo. These tattoos are for you. And also, this tattoo is technically upside down. Also, with things like that, I am not, like I said, it's not my tattoo. Especially if someone's wanting a lot more tattoos, I will let them know, hey, if you're wanting more tattoos, if you're building a sleeve, this one's going to be upside down on the sleeve. I explain to them when you're standing, like when wearing a t-shirt, when you're standing, you shouldn't be able to read your t-shirt. Other people should be able to read your t-shirt. Same thing with your tattoos. It should technically be right side up when you're standing natural. But things like this, especially wrist tattoos, I'm so open to having it face you. You know what I mean? It's not for me. It is for you. And especially if you're only getting this one tattoo, like my boyfriend's mom is probably not about to get this. My boyfriend's mom's probably not about to get a sleeve. Like, I'd like to know if she's planning on that. But, so something like this, I'm always happy to let it face the client. I let them know if it's upside down, but something like this, it doesn't matter. This is literally, to other people, this is just a tattoo, like just a line on some skin. It doesn't mean anything to other people. It means something to you. If there's something like that, someone's name, get that the way you want, and just know, technically, it's upside down. But I've been known to do an upside down tattoo, but I always let people know, and I let them make the decision on their own. Like, that's why it's important to research tattoos ahead of time. Not every artist will tell you, and then some artists will bully you for your decision to make the tattoo upside down, when it's really not a big deal. It's literally, it's your tattoo, it's for you. Face it. I always try to face things so that you can read it, like anything that's vertical, because it doesn't really make sense to me. Everything's different. Anyway, so when we first placed the stencil, I think it was slanted a little bit too much one direction, and then we were like, okay, I misjudged, because it's sort of like a little bit at an angle, I think. So I think I followed the like straight edge of the back of the M to the like edge of her wrist. But really I should have been following like a parallel line, like if she wrote the M on a line, that's actually how it was situated. So that's why I always like ask people, look at it from your look at it from your perspective, especially if it's something like this. Like the most important visual is like your view of it more than anything. You know, still look, stand, see how does it look in the mirror, but you want to make sure it's straight from your angle as well as just like on your body in general. So I'll try to make sure it's straight, but there's always like expectations. I'll always ask people, what angle do you want this at? And most people already have an idea. So this tattoo is pretty small. She actually wanted it slightly bigger than I was anticipating, which is always a good thing. A little bit bigger is always a little bit better, especially for tattoos. In terms of the size of the tattoos itself. Now, I notice a lot of people when they do small tattoos like this, they always use like the same liner. And I usually attribute that to some people just don't use thin liners. They just don't keep them in stock. So if you're going to someone who only does traditional and you're wanting a small little tattoo, they're probably going to say yes. Maybe in a responsible way. Like for instance, someone who does traditional will probably talk you into making it slightly larger because they're not going to use needles this small. You know what I mean? So like you're going to get a bold line tattoo. That's just sort of what happens. So that's why a lot of times you'll get artists convincing you to go a lot larger with tattoos. That and thicker needle weights are going to heal a little bit better generally. It depends. It always depends on the execution of the line, like the tattoo artist who's doing it in general. I'm just never talking about what's on the screen. But so I tend to, for something like this, I used to use a Bug Pen 7 round liner, which is pretty fine. That's a pretty good fine line. This tattoo is large enough and open enough, like that loop, even on like the pen drawing, there's no open space. It's not like there's any gaps that need to be held open. So this is a pretty good handwriting for a tattoo. It really lends itself to a decent tattoo in my opinion. Pretty open, and it's so fun. What a fun M. It's upside down. If you can read it like that, super cool. But I always use a finer line, so I tend to now go for like a Bug Pen 5 liner, unless the design is a little bit bigger. And usually I'll ask people, are you hoping for like, or maybe not what they're hoping for. It depends on the reference pictures they show me and stuff. I'll ask them like, are you hoping for super thin? Like if the reference picture is very thin, then I might use a Bug Pen 3 round liner, but my approach to tattooing that would be much different than tattooing it with a 5 round liner. I probably wouldn't just automatically volunteer a Bug Pen 3 round liner unless the client has shown to me that they really like fine line tattoos. The finest line I would probably do on someone is a Bug Pen 5 for something like this. There's no reason to go very, very small. I feel like a Bug Pen 5 round liner can still give you a sturdy line while still being able to give your client the tattoo at the size they want. Most people want pretty small tattoos, especially for these like small names. They don't necessarily want this little name the size of half their arm so that you could do it with like a bold 9 round liner. Now, in a lot of cases, I mean, there's pros and cons to all different types of tattoos. Now, I'm just talking about the pros and cons of tattoos. So like bold, they say bold will hold. I always say bold will bold. So like you need to do you need to do the standard 9 round liner large because it's already so bold, and then all the ink you're putting in the skin with those lines, it's going to make it even bolder. So you would have to go pretty large if you want to do it with a thicker line. So I try whenever possible to keep it pretty thin. If the design was if she chose a slightly larger size, I might have even gone to a Bug Pen 7 for this one, just because the design's so simple and I can still keep a 7 like pretty light, pretty dainty, instead of like bold in it, like especially a Bug Pen 7. But so how I do it with the Bug Pen 5, you can probably sort of see how I've been working. I keep my machine pretty low when I use anything below a Bug Pen 7, so a 5 or a 3. I don't actually ever use Bug Pen 1 round liner. I just never have. I don't know if I don't see a point. I don't have an opinion because I don't see the point in trying at this point. But I tend to keep my machine pretty low. Usually I'll have the machine at like an 8 for like if it was a 7-round liner, or maybe a 9 bug pin 9-round liner. And if I was going a little bit bolder, I might push it up to like a 9, so the machine's going a little bit faster. And then that's the machine, the needle's hitting the skin like this. And then if you put it up to like a 9, it'll go a lot faster. So for that bold black line with like a 14-round liner, you want it to hit more times. You want it to be bolder. You want it to be darker. Those liners are less likely to cause blowouts. They're less likely to cut the skin. A whole bunch of other things that are like, they make them sturdier, like liners for a tattoo, especially for like designs and stuff. I find the Bug Pin 5, like, I've learned over the past few years of using it that you can still get a pretty sturdy line. The Bug Pin 3, it can be a little bit more challenging to get a nice solid line, so that's why I don't tend to go for a Bug Pin 3. But the Bug Pin 5, if I turn my machine down, I find it's extremely less likely to get a blowout. You always hate when you pull a line and then you see the blowout right before your eyes and you're like, dang, there's nothing I can do. So I really prevent that type of thing from happening by turning the machine down to like a 6.5 or even just a 6. And then I'll just go slow. I put the needle in with purpose, but like lightly, and I sort of just like sketch it in just to like stipple it in. Like I'll make longer strokes with a 5-round liner than with a 3. I'll kind of do the same thing with a 3-round liner. But the 5-round liner, I can kind of like, I can just go slow and pull a line, and I can sort of like slowly build it up instead of putting way too much ink in the skin too fast. So I feel like her tattoo was a really nice size. It was like a nice pen drawing, single line weight. These types of tattoos are super meaningful, and I'm always happy to do them because, you know, it's always special to like make people happy. Because this is always like a connection to a family member or something. And I like being able to make memories for someone so that like they can look every day and just like hopefully feel connected to people. That's always why I liked not tattooing. Well, I do like tattooing, but that's always why I liked drawing like realistic pet and animal portraits, because I really liked it touches people. It really like impacts their lives in hopefully a positive way. And tattoos are like a little more high stakes because it's like on their body, so it's a little scarier. But definitely like a similar amount of fulfilling. Tattoos like this are a little bit fast, so like it's different doing a drawing for like 16 hours straight and then giving it to someone and then they shed a tear and it's like, oh, I'm so happy that like I captured their animal and can make them happy. But even things like this where it's like a signature of a loved one or like a pet, like a paw print or something like that, I'm always so happy to be able to do that for people and, you know, give them the chance to connect with whoever they lost or whoever they want to feel connected to. And then it's even better when whoever they're like commemorating in the tattoo or whoever's like signature or writing, like if they didn't pass away, because then they're like, I can't wait to show them. Like, there's just things like that are so special, and I'm always so awkward, so I can't really I don't know how to talk about death and stuff. But anyway, I was very glad to do this for my momster. And if you saw at the end there, I'll probably make a longer video showing a second skin process, but I do always offer to all of my clients second skin if the placement allows. Like some places, like finger tattoos, I don't really put second skin. And then even this, I always say like a wrist tattoo, like, you know, because it's near such a bendy area, you wash your hands a lot, like it's very likely to fall off, and it fell off the next day. So but I always offer people second skin. I like it even if it does fall off, like to get you through the first night. Like I've always used second skin. I always like to offer it to my clients, but I never force it on them. Like if you know you don't like it or if you like your other healing method, it's always just a tattoo under there, you know? Like, we don't gotta put plastic on it. And, you know, some people are allergic, so we don't put it on everyone. But I'll give, like, little squares for, like, patch tests, like, things like that. We got ways to figure things out. Anyway, I'm, like, just fidgeting, so I probably look crazy. But what else is new? I think that's it for this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I really didn't focus on the footage more like that much, but I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory because especially for something small like this, I'm not sure what I would talk about. So I kind of like the idea of just talking to you guys. Like, I would like to build a little tattoo community, but I don't know how. I'm trying to form it, and I haven't had like a lot of feedback from people, so I'm trying to figure it out. But I would like to build a larger community, and we can talk about tattoos. So I'm not necessarily like doing a play-by-play, like every stroke of the needle to like teach people how to tattoo. And if you are interested in longer processes, I don't know who I am to teach you. I've only been tattooing like 3.5 years, it might be like 3.5 years now, something like that. Oh my gosh, I'm like a toddler. I'm like a tatter tot. But I definitely got distracted, not sure what I said. But yeah, I'd like to build a community. I'd like to talk about things, and like even like we could watch tattoos in the background, and we can like tell tattoo horror stories. If you want to leave like comments down below of like tattoo horror stories, and like maybe I can make a series. I don't know, let me know what you guys would be interested in. I keep asking this for every video, but I got the same questions. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And I love you. See you in the next one. Bye. Okay, just being weird.